Report from Houston with the Nationals in a must-win situation against Justin Verlander. That's going to be fun tonight. Plus, Herbie details how Tua tips the college football playoff scales in today's NFL trade deadline, winners and losers. Russell Westbrook all smiles while visiting with his former Thunder teammates in their locker room after Monday's game. Not the same guy you saw on the court as he poured in 21 points, grabbed 12 rebounds in the Rockets' 116-112 victory. Here's Westbrook on his game day demeanor.
This is how it goes. When I hoop, I have no friends. On the court, they know not to talk to me, but Steven's a real close friend of mine. But on inside those lines, there's no friends. Spalding, that's my friend, and my teammates, and that's it. But before the game, after the game, I'll talk to my guys. I'll go talk to them right now, but doesn't mean that I don't have friends. But during the game, I don't. It's that simple. If you try to be my friend, I ain't gonna say to you.
With it, not in the business of making friends. Stephen A., will Russ's attitude be the biggest reason for this Rockets team's success?
No, not at all. The biggest reason for the Rockets' success is Russell Westbrook's play. That's what's going to be the ingredient to their success. The man right now is averaging 24, nearly 13 assists and 9.7 rebounds. The brother's averaging nearly a triple-double again. He's been absolutely spectacular, shooting 50% from the field, about 36% from three-point range, Max. Remember, I said if he can stay in that mid-30 range as a three-point shooter, that's going to be something special for the Houston Rockets. But understand something. There isn't that much of a difference between Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul, attitude-wise. The difference is in the athletic ability. Chris Paul is a cerebral point guard that goes out there and is absolutely spectacular at running a show. Russell Westbrook is absolutely spectacular at taking over the damn show. That kind of play is what Houston needs. Houston isn't devoid of the right mental makeup per se. Whether it's a Capella, it's a P.J. Tucker, it's an Eric Gordon and these boys. They rough riders. They ain't scared of anybody. They go out there and they perform, and they will fit right in with Russell Westbrook's mentality. But his athletic ability, his ability to drive to the lane, draw attention, kick it out to open shooters, which he has been doing. That's going to be the difference between the Houston Rockets that we've been seeing and the Houston Rockets we will see, because he's going to get more guys open shots. But attitude, as much as I love it, the fact of the matter is it ain't that much difference between him and Chris Paul. I'm here to tell you that.
I think there's a big difference between him and Chris Paul, and I do think it's the attitude, and I do think the attitude is the biggest thing he brings to the Rockets in the event that they have more success than they've had in recent years, which is a lot of success. Look, a lot of the hand-wringing about Russell Westbrook and his psychology, and he's doing this, it's just that he's not a better shooter. Like, if Russell Westbrook was a 35% three-point shooter, he'd just be the best player in the world, and no one would say anything about any kind of problem anywhere. But, Stephen A., when you talk to guys around the league, at least when I do, I get a sense that there's more love for Westbrook than for Chris Paul. I do think there's a difference between kind of a sense that Chris Paul is controlling as a point guard and as a presence, and Russell Westbrook is effort as a point guard and as a presence. Obviously, Chris Paul puts a lot of effort. But Russell Westbrook's kind of all-out competitiveness on every play, every single night is different than everyone else's. There's no one else like him in that respect. It's the reason he is my favorite player. And of course he's a little bit better at this point in his career than Chris Paul. I mean, you just said it. He's coming off 3 consecutive seasons of triple doubles, and here he is doing it again in a new environment, right, with James Harden on the team. But why do I say the attitude is the number one thing? Stephen A., that have no friends, no shortcuts, no nothing, all out all the time. What do the Rockets actually have to overcome, in my view? It's James Harden's hiccups under pressure in the playoffs when the lights are brightest. Don't shoot that ball looking to jump under Draymond Green's legs and draw a foul. Shoot that ball looking to hit it. I don't think anyone better kind of exemplifies that attitude, that no friends, always trying to win at any cost attitude, as Russell Westbrook does. And I think if there is something he can bring to the team that can change that dynamic under pressure, with James Harden, and I know Westbrook hasn't always been great under pressure, but it's never because he's afraid of the moment or afraid of failure. Sometimes I feel like it's because he's pulling too hard, because he sees that he wants to win so bad he's pulling too hard. But I never feel like he's shying away from the moment or from the competition. Max. And that's what I felt at times under pressure that James Harden has done, and I think Russell Westbrook will be a good influence in that respect.
Here's where you're wrong. What you're missing is that although you've accurately highlighted and dissected the personality of Russell Westbrook, what you have missed is that he's a standalone kind of guy in terms of that attitude. His teammates haven't necessarily adopted his approach, his mannerisms, his mentality, his tenacity. Case in point is the greatness of Kevin Durant. How many times have we sat up there and said, if Kevin Durant had that kind of attitude, how great will he have been years earlier? I'm talking about his transcendent talent that already exists. If he had that kind of attitude, what would he be?
He's the greatest player of all time.
And so my point to you is you could say the same thing about Steven Adams. You could say the same thing even about Paul George, who was his teammate last year. The list goes on and on of guys who have played with Russell Westbrook. They love him. They revere him. You can't deal with Russell Westbrook and not respect him because he's a man's man. He plays no games. He's as serious as they come, and he's the real deal. He's raw with that. But understand something. He stands alone with his mentality. Nobody tries to change him because they know they can't. Nobody wants to change him, but no one else out there seems capable of adopting his kind of approach.
I hear what
with
you're
that
saying.
level of intensity. So he might have it, but other people don't.
But let me tweak it a little bit to try and explain to you what I mean in the way in which he may help Harden. Harden's game is based on deception, is based on like being cute, Euro-stepping, timing, drawing fouls. It's all like a manipulation of rules and kind of tricking the defense that's like successful for Harden. Westbrook's none of that. Westbrook is, here comes the fastball. It's coming 100 miles an hour. Let's see if you can hit it. That's more of what Harden needs.
We got a UFC fighter waiting for us. The Rockets' only loss so far this season is to the Bucks. Still to come, which NFL contenders made this week's exclusive Stevens A-list? We got a different take on this one this week. You don't want to miss it.